Good morning, everyone. Today's passage is John 17, 20 to 26. I'm hoping I've got the right one there. Julian nods. And to give you a bit of context, Jesus he's had the Last Supper with his disciples, and according to John's version of it, he's done a lot of talking at dinner. And then they leave, but he carries on talking for a lot longer, presumably while they walk, I don't know. And then he starts praying. And first he asks to be glorified, and then he prays for his disciples, the people who were following him at that point. And then he prays for all who will believe in his message. And that includes us. And here's the passage. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I in them and you in me. May they be brought to complete unity, to let the world know that you sent me and have loved them, even as you have loved me. Father, I want those who you have given me to be with me where I am and to see my glory, the glory that you have given me because you have loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Father, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they know that you have sent me. I have made you known to them and will continue to make you known in order that the love that you have for me may be in them, and I myself may be in them. So Jesus clearly thinks unity among his believers is really, really important. He knows he's about to face death. He's having the last check-in with the Father before he goes through this. And clearly, what's foremost in his mind is that his current and future followers have unity. And this is a really deep type of unity because it involves them being one in a similar sort of way to the way he's unified with the Father. And he thinks this is vital if his followers are to have any credibility, if others are going to listen to them and take them seriously. Now, when a historian writes a book about a past event, what he or she writes tells us as much about the time they are writing in as the time they're writing about. Their interpretation of what happened is coloured by the events they're living through. And the same is probably true of gospel writers. One of the reasons John chose to recount these particular words of Jesus in this way was probably because unity among believers was an issue for him. The apostolic age was coming to an end. The church was trying to work out who was going to be in charge once the apostles had died off, and how they were going to know what to believe without the apostles. All issues that can and still do cause division. Now, the church took these words very, very seriously, and they strove to maintain unity very hard, and succeeded for around 1,000 years. Until 1054, there was only one official Christian church. That's not to say that there weren't disagreements. People who understood the Christian message in a very different way to the norm were declared heretics and got chucked out. But the church was pretty good at accommodating a variety of views on things that weren't absolutely essential. And there were lots of debates and quite open conversations while they tried to work out what normal was. So how does Jesus call for unity? What does it mean for us now when we have so many different churches? And how are we supposed to be one with each other? Firstly, I think we need to recognize that we are on the same journey to the same destination as all of our Christian brothers, however differently we see the world. We are in the same team as the gun-toting, Trump-supporting evangelical from Texas, the Afghani who's going to the mosque and worshipping Jesus in secret, the South American Catholic with their massive statue of Mary, and the Nigerian Pentecostal who preaches the prosperity gospel. They are all our family. You don't have to like your family, but you need to be there for them. There is an awful lot we won't agree on, but we're all on the same train and it's bound for glory. So we need to be respectful, to properly listen to each other. We may need to speak to them what we see as hard truths, but we must always do that with respect and in love. Within our town, churches can and should work together. People outside churches notice this, and it has an impact. And as Christ Central, I think we've been really good at this in recent years, what with borough churches, website, debt advice, being an active part of churches together, and being part of the Renewed Hope Trust and all the work it does with homeless people. And we need to press on and not tire of this sort of work, because recently it's become a sort of bit of the under the radar type of thing, stuff that we don't really talk about much in services, and less of us are involved as individuals than in the past. And I think within our church, we must also maintain unity. This doesn't mean we need to think the same, act the same, like the same style of worship, or even have exactly the same theological outlook. But we need to hold key important beliefs in common. And we need to be able to listen to each other, learn the art of challenging each other politely, and how to agree to disagree and still to be able to work together. And because we won't agree on everything, being able to accept the authority of our elders, even when we disagree with them, is really, really important. And our elders need to be open to being challenged about their positions and attitudes by the congregation, and if necessary, change what they do. By and large, I think we're really good at doing this, that we've come through quite a traumatic change in leadership without too much damage is a very good sign. And I think our elders are approachable and able to listen and reflect on what people in the church are saying to them and wear it wisely. To be one and to be unified, we need to spend time together. We need to get to know each other and understand each other better. And that's one of the reasons the daily devotional is so valuable, as are the connect groups, coffee after church, men after the pub. But if you've turned up and you're listening to this, I'm preaching to the converted. You've already grasped the value of that sort of thing. Jesus' prayer ends with a promise that Jesus would continue to make the Father known to believers, and that the love of the Father has for Jesus would be in us, and that Jesus would be in us. And that's a big promise. And some people will respond with, yes, what a promise. And others will think, well, that's all very well, but I've been a Christian for years and I don't feel it. I don't feel that experience of God. What's wrong with me? And I don't think those who don't have a highly tangible experience of God's presence are doing anything wrong. We all experience God in different ways, and the way in which this experience is doled out to different people doesn't seem entirely fair. I'm also suspicious of some people who think they have a hotline to God and God speaks to them all the time. I think they may have confused their own internal monologue with communication from the Almighty. I've certainly come across people who have attempted to justify their own sin by saying God told them to do it. And I think they were genuinely deluded rather than cynical. I think all I can talk about is my experience. And I know this is just a feeling, and a skeptic could say, I'm just fooling myself, choosing to interpret a general sense of well-being as the presence of God. But it's pretty powerful when I'm in it. There have been occasions when I felt the love of God within me and enfolding me, and it's wonderful. I know I am his child and he cares for me. Occasionally, and only when I'm on my own, I can use tongues to talk to God and to say the stuff that's within me, but I don't have the words for. It's like my spirit's saying stuff that's beyond what I can articulate, even with my head. And it's all too vague, and I certainly couldn't say it out loud. It's a very, very personal thing, and I wouldn't want to do it in front of everyone. This doesn't happen very often. Sometimes I've lost it and not done it for years. And when I reconnect with God, it's like getting back in touch with a really good old friend, and you think, I really missed you, and I've not realized. It's good to be back. Why on earth did I let this relationship slide? I know I would experience God more if I gave him more time. If I spent more time with him without an agenda, with a big list of things that I want to say to him, and just be with God. And it's amazing the excuses I can come up for avoiding doing this. And that's all I have for you.